Prosecutors say they won't press charges, and we're going to be talking to a journalist who says the pop star was in fact set up. Matt? One day after the Michael Jackson investigation concluded with no charges filed, there's a new article this morning that tackles the question, was Michael Jackson framed? The cover story of the October issue of GQ magazine seems to take Jackson's side, suggesting that the father of an alleged victim concocted a scheme to destroy the superstar. A spokesman for the boy's father turned down our request for an interview, calling the story one-sided and biased. The author of the GQ article, Mary Fischer, though, is with us in Los Angeles. Ms. Fischer, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Good morning.
As I mentioned, the title of the article is Was Michael Jackson Framed? Did he do it? How did you go about trying to find the answer to those questions?
By looking at the other side and by investigating Jackson's accusers, which hadn't been done before, remarkably had not been done before.
You painstakingly, Mary, went through court documents, business records, but the defense attorneys for Michael Jackson did not cooperate. Do you think that as a result people will give more credence possibly to your findings?
Well, I hope so, because it turns out I certainly didn't need them. Need their assistance. I was able to find this wealth of information without them.
Tell me what you were able to find and what evidence you have that you can tell us about this morning that Mr. Jackson was indeed framed.
Well, there's a number of pieces of evidence. One is that there is a taped, recorded conversation between the boy's father and the boy's stepfather, in which the father, in his own words, says that he is following a quote-unquote certain plan that against Jackson, and that if he doesn't get what he wants, he's going to move against Jackson and destroy him, and that he had a number of people in place ready to help him with this plan. But the key evidence that I've uncovered is that the boy's allegations only came out after he was administered a powerful drug called sodium amytal. He had always said that nothing bad had ever happened between Michael Jackson and himself, and it was only after his father administered this drug to his son that the allegations came out.
And in fact, sodium amytal, Mary, has been shown to produce false memories in some cases, correct?
Exactly. There's a recent landmark case in Napa County, California, the Gary Ramona case, in which a young woman, Holly Ramona, had been administered this drug by her psychiatrist and therapist. And after receiving the drug, she came out and said that her father had molested her as a young girl. Gary Ramona, the case went to trial, and a jury found in favor of the father and concluded that these memories in the girl were probably false. So the drug has become an issue, and its unreliability has been established.
In addition to your focus on sodium amytal, you do spend an awful lot of time focusing on the character of the boy's father as well as the boy's father's attorney. They have some very questionable things in their background that you seem to say would make them certainly ripe for this kind of accusation or this kind of behavior, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been involved in some unethical situations in the past. I think there's a predisposition to do things like this, and as a source told me, a source who works in the lawyer's office, that they felt that he probably devised this whole plan and that it was within his character to do something like this. And the remarkable thing to me is that nobody in the police, prosecutor's office, or in the media cared to look at Jackson's accusers.
You know, as you know, shortly after the media first learned of the child molestation allegations, Jackson's lawyers said this was really an attempt to extort money, and eventually there was an out-of-court settlement of somewhere between $10 and $20 million. No one's exactly sure of the amount. So did this work? I guess it did, didn't it?
You mean the extortion?
Yes.
I think in part, I think that the principals of the case, the father and his attorney, didn't get the kind of money that they wanted. In fact, the attorney has recently filed a civil suit against Jackson. He was left out of this settlement entirely. I've been told that the father received some money, but that he had originally made a demand of $20 million, and he didn't get anywhere near that sum.
You know, I think people could totally accept your argument if this whole case just involved one boy accusing Michael Jackson, but as we have heard repeatedly and heard again yesterday, the DA's office said there were 3 alleged victims. So how does that square with your whole thesis?
I don't think there are 3 victims. And even if the district attorney had 100 boys lined up who made allegations, they are still only allegations, and that they remain in the realm of unsubstantiated accusations. And that it would be almost better if this one boy did go to court and testify, because if he did, all of this information that is presented in my GQ article would come out, including the information about how his allegations came out by the use of this drug.
All right, Mary Fischer, it is a fascinating article, and you can read the entire piece in the October issue of GQ magazine, which hits the newsstands tomorrow. Mary, thanks so much for joining us this morning.